Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call to order the regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, July 26th, 2016. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll now take the roll. Holly Bem.
Here.
Robert Kolakowski. Absent. Aaron Levitt-Smith.
Present.
Ron Lacandro.
Present.
Alan Needham.
Here.
William Rice. Present. Elizabeth Burt.
Here.
Mark Drake. Absent. Gary Lungarini. Absent. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do have 5 regular commissioners, but I guess it's my discretion if I want to fill the board with an alternate. So, Elizabeth, I'll appoint you as an alternate to the regular status. Very good. Okay, Mr. Kolakowski, our secretary, is not here today, so I will address the minutes of the meeting from July 12th, 2016. As we typically do, I'll just ask for comments on each page. Please refer to the line item if you do have a comment. So any comments to page 1? Page 2.
Excuse me, going back to page 1.
Yep.
Lines 33 and 41, where we have on the Climax Road proposal. Hearing continued to 6/28. Shouldn't that be?
6/26, huh?
7/26.
7/26. Excellent.
Wow, good.
And also below on line
See?
41.
Good idea to bring her into the fold.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Anything else on page 1? Page 2? Page 3? Page 4? With no other comments, I'd make a motion to accept the minutes from the July 12th, 2016 Planning Commission regular meeting as amended.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
Ron Lacandro abstains. Janice. The motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is we have a continued public hearing for application number 16-01. This is the 80 Climax Road subdivision. We are in receipt of a letter dated July 25th, 2016 from Mr. Lewis, Attorney Lewis Wise, representing the applicant, notifying this commission that they have decided to withdraw their application. They've cited some timing issues, specifically the fact that the public hearing needed to close by August 7th, or
17th.
17th,
Yeah.
right, but there were no regularly scheduled meetings of the Planning Commission in August. So, for all intents and purposes, tonight would have been the last meeting that we could have the public hearing on. So, they have decided to withdraw that application. They do state that they do intend to quickly file a new application in the future. So that kind of ends that discussion for the time being. We still have an open public hearing. Mr. Rabbit, should we?
No, Mr. Chairman, actually, once that withdrawal letter is received, the application is no longer live.
Okay, so we don't even have to close a public hearing.
I would just, as you had, note for the record the receipt of the July 25th, 2016 letter.
May I ask a question? I remember 2 weeks ago when we were here, they had up until this hearing, or the public hearing, to submit. And it sounds like they submitted on the 20th.
We received revised plans a week ago Wednesday.
So,
And decided yesterday at 12:24 PM to withdraw their application.
but technically, they could have submitted without giving anybody any chance to take a look at the plans, correct?
Anyone can submit information until the close of the hearing.
All right. And they chose to withdraw based on the fact that people might not have had enough time to take a look at it? Is that,
They referenced that in their letter.
okay. All right.
They wouldn't have had more time to defend it either.
But they had, you know, I remember asking this question, because I was concerned 2 weeks ago that they would submit late and wouldn't give the people countersuing, whatever you want to say, I think it was Attorney Case is the gentleman, and the answer was they could submit up until just prior to, so I'm kind of confused then how they came about, I mean,
Well, look at it this way, if they had questions to
Yeah.
defend, okay, they couldn't do it after today.
This application has been withdrawn. It will be subject potentially to another application with a hearing process. And we know the previous application involved interveners. It was somewhat contentious, so I would caution you on continuing the discussion of this matter any further.
We're done.
Staff is always available to answer questions.
It's done.
I get that, but I just, you know, for newer members of the board and what the information was out there, I just want to clarify, because I'm sure there's people that might be watching this that have the same questions. So that's why I just wanted clarification. I'm not looking to discuss the application, I'm looking for process information, which
Again, Mr.
is,
Chairman, from an administrative standpoint, so long as the hearing is open, testimony can be submitted, really up until the moment it is closed. Once the hearing closes, no new information can come in. The exception to that is your staff. Your staff has to evaluate the information as it was submitted,
As of the close of the public
as
hearing.
of the close of the hearing.
So,
okay.
And to further clarify, especially for the newer members, Jamie, the application that was withdrawn can no longer be, and that whole process can't be used in the decision for the new application, because the new application has to stand on
Should
its
stand on its merit.
own
Yep.
merit. So this will be the third time, but each of the previous applications we can't consider with the new.
You're aware of them, but you have to rely on the record
Correct.
that is submitted during that process. How they get information into that record, I'm sure will be discussed.
Okay.
okay, we'll take that up if and when a new application is filed. Okay, so that eliminates our first point of old business. The application is withdrawn, it no longer exists. Under new business, we are not in receipt of any new applications, but we have been asked for a referral, a Connecticut General Statutes 8-24 referral for proposed acceptance of sewer easements for 20 Hot Meadow Street property. So just remember, the 824 deals with any property that the town will have purview over or ownership of. So in this case, the proposed easement is by the state of Connecticut in favor of the town of Simsbury for new sewer lines. So, do we have someone here who wants to speak on that?
Mr. Chairman, we do have representation from Garden Homes Development, and Mr. Hope is here as counsel representing that group. With regards to the easement language, it's in essence twofold. It is easements associated with the state of Connecticut and also easements associated with crossing other private lands. Originally, it was a state and developer agreement, and there was a small sliver that was unnoticed that also requires an easement for. So that is the primary reason it's coming before you. In essence, follows a similar track with regards to access to the Simsbury sewer interceptor as it was proposed during the development process. You have a staff review of that in your packet, and you also have a proposed motion based on a review of the proposal submitted by the applicant. In association with the proposed easement, staff came to the conclusion that it is consistent with the POCD.
I didn't see that.
It's really nice you put the motion wording in there.
Yeah, I don't see
Is
it
this
either.
the new project, that's the Avon line on Route 10?
Yes, just for clarification for the new member, because I wasn't here when it was originally approved also. Garden Homes is the development that is under construction on the Avon Town Line. It's associated with two aspects, we'll say phase 1 and phase 2, or you can reverse those. But the phase that is under construction right now is the residential phase being undertaken by Garden Homes out of New Jersey. The other aspect of that project is the retail commercial office space fronting on Hop Meadow.
And what is the planning commission's responsibility in this case? Just
This case is,
Compliance
as you
with-
mentioned, under the referral at 8-24, it is to determine whether you feel it is consistent or compliant with the goals and objectives of the town's plan of conservation and development.
Would this easement run along Route 10, parallel to Route 10, or coming in from the property to Route
The
10?
easement is on the easterly side of the property.
Parallel to Route 10.
Roughly parallel to Route 10. Runs a little east-west and a little north-south.
You said it's very small piece of,
Again, Mr. Hope is here, who perhaps if there's additional clarity that the commission seeks, he could.
It's not quite what I gleaned from the plan.
In her packet,
Mr.
there were
Hope,
drawings, so here we go.
Please, enlighten us.
Good evening.
Which one is this?
Everything staff has said has been entirely correct. With respect to orienting you on the maps, I have some just slightly larger maps. That would be helpful for you guys.
It's really,
That's the problem.
So
Thank
This
you.
is what you're getting here. I'm gonna come kind of back and forth. This is the subdivision map. It shows the different phases that we're talking about on the piece on Hot Meadow Street. With respect to your question, Ms. Bird, I'm just gonna come and give you one more. But the easement is gonna generally run east to west from our property, not intersecting Hot Meadow Street, but going over these private lands that you're gonna see on this little bit of map. You guys are good? And so immediately to the east of the property owned by Simsbury Developers and Garden Homes is developing is the Rails to Trails. There's a bike path back there owned by the Department of Transportation. DOT would give us an easement to go under that piece, and then the next piece that we would need to get to is owned by DEP, the Department of Environmental and Energy Protection. And so Simsbury's sewer line that's already existing is right past that kind of past the rails and trails with a small section over to deep for us to tie in there. And as contained in our letter, the major benefit is keeping the hookup entirely within the town of Simsbury. This was supported by the WPCA. There was some question as to whether the state would be cooperative in providing these easements for us to hook up here. So it was explored at one point to whether we would hook up via Hot Meadow Street and through the town of Avon. That complicates things. There's an agreement between the two towns that governs how that's handled. There's also a fee structure associated with that. The added benefit is that it keeps all the fees for the hookup for the town of Simsbury, and in the future it keeps the entire system within the town of Simsbury. And being that all these parcels are entirely within the town, that's favorable in that way. And this, just to be clear, I know staff covered this, but this will also, for the two parcels you're seeing on the subdivision map in front, this will be the sewer access for them too. So this will serve the whole piece, which is a large piece.
So 1A, 1B, 1C.
Yes, sir.
Could you just hold this up and trace the line of the easement? It's impossible to.
So the easement is not depicted on that
Oh.
particular map. We have additional maps here that would kind of show the two separate pieces, and I'm certainly happy to show you these and then kind of point out just in general where this is. So these are the two pieces.
No,
You don't have
no, where's
anything
1A?
projected.
Where's 1A?
Upper left-hand corner.
I think it's down here.
Oh, there's 1A.
And so just for everybody looking at the subdivision map that we have here,
Okay.
Hot Meadow Street is up here at the top. The rails to trails is right down here, and DEP owns this land right down here, so we're coming straight out right here to a lateral that's shown on the more technical drawings that you have.
Yep.
But that little piece right here that we're looking at the line is right here.
Okay.
So you're going into Avon?
We are not going into Avon.
Oh, but isn't that the Avon line there?
The Avon line is right here, this line.
Oh, and so even this
And
is
so that-
Simsbury?
That is
Okay.
this line.
Okay.
And so we're coming in right here to the existing lateral that you're seeing right there.
The major question I
This is
have
what the-
that I'd like
Sure.
to ask you.
Absolutely.
Is-
Oh, I saw your map. I
Okay.
This
Is,
is actually a better connection.
when DOT,
We have one
when
conversation, please.
when you spoke to DOT, of course, they're aware of all the utilities that may or may not still run under that right-of-way. I believe AT&T has a pretty major trunk line going through somewhere.
It's on Route 10.
It's on 10.
It's
It's on-
under
okay.
Route 10 as
So,
far
I
as
mean,
know.
so DOT cleared it with regards to anything that may still be running under there from when they used to do it when the railroad ran through there.
I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
Well, again, I don't know any specifics, and there's no discussion of it in any of the information, but in the olden days, the rail lines were also used for lots of utilities. And I don't know, in the days that the rail was decommissioned, if all the utilities also left, quit running under that tract of
It's
land.
DOT.
Chairman, I may be able
turf, so
to
Yeah.
provide some insight to that.
So
With
as long as they
regards-
know.
With regards to the proposed methodology, they are not trenching across the rail line. They are doing two pits on both the east and west side, and they're gonna do what's called jacking. Basically, it's if you look at a piece of pipe that has a bullet front to it, and it's hydraulically pushed through the soil to the other side. So it is not an open trench and burial system, because you have to maintain, they don't want to trench across the active trail. So they are digging, again, a pushing pit and a receiving pit
Right, I think
on the east and west side.
Holly's concern is, are they aware of other utilities that may be?
There are checks and balances throughout the process to
Okay.
make sure that utilities are not jeopardized.
There
If
are
there is
utilities?
something that isn't on any recorded map, that is in essence impossible to know until
Right.
you find that utility that isn't recorded anywhere. But any recorded utility will be carefully reviewed and carefully protected during the process.
And all utilities left a record of what they did.
Typically, yes.
Because I know there used to be all sorts of stuff going on with these tracks. I don't recall seeing anything that describes this bullet push. We're going to just explode through underneath the soil a mess of water back and forth.
Tunneling underneath by pushing it through.
It's okay, that's really not in the purview of the
Not at all.
POCD.
Right.
So it's interesting to understand.
It doesn't look strange when you're on the trail. I mean,
You won't even see it.
you won't see it, it's all
There-
underground.
It's subterranean.
In essence, there will be a pit dug on one side of where you're sitting, on the side that I am sitting. It will be pushed basically at the rug level through the ground. And then once the connections are made, both pits are backfilled. And you won't know it's there.
Okay, so that's the question. So there's nothing to be seen by the people walking on the trail?
Correct.
That's correct.
Maybe a manhole.
All on subsurface.
No, because it's an existing manhole.
There is one?
Again, the only thing you may see is a connection at some point if there's a transition and a manhole coming to the surface, but there's no exposed pipe.
So there is an existing, you were saying something, Ron, before.
No, I
So-
was just saying that the reason that they're doing this, correct me if I'm wrong, is because if they were to connect to this one here, they would have to cross
Cross town.
over
Yep.
town lines.
No, I think the original plan was to tie into Hot Meadow Street.
But to your point, yes, it would have required us to hook up through the town of Avon.
Correct.
And then kind of come back around. This was the better proposal from the outset. We just weren't sure if we were going to be able to accomplish it. We have full cooperation from both agencies, and they're just wanting to make sure that the town is on board with proceeding in this manner and that they'll accept the easements.
And so when you say there's a manhole, here?
No, see where it says existing manhole?
Oh,
So they're just connecting into
I gotcha.
Okay.
There's
Once all of this is constructed, it's on the town property. Who maintains it, the town or the property owner?
Which,
Who will maintain this easement with the sewer system in it?
the easement itself will be the town's easement, will be in favor of the town of Simsbury. In
Correct.
terms of maintenance, again, the utilities are subterranean. There's not going to be a functional maintenance piece anymore. The surface will still be maintained by DOT for the rails and trails, and the DEP will still maintain the surface of the piece that we've tied under. That small section where we already have the existing pipe of Simsbury, and then to our property line would be a maintenance requirement of the town.
So Elizabeth, the property remains in the ownership of DEP and DOT.
Correct.
So the easement allows Simsbury, if they need to access this town-owned sewer pipe, the ability to do that.
Any other questions?
Buried communication line, AT&T. So this technology is not going to mess up the data communication line?
That's our best understanding. It's fairly sophisticated. It's been around for a while.
Okay.
It's the same way, it's the same method in which they hook up like gas lines to your home, where they dig the area out in the street and then they shoot it in and hook it up to your house where they don't rip your entire yard out. So they're able to kind of just in a subterranean manner, place the pipe up to the connection points.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you are putting a physical connection.
Yeah.
The way you made it
Yes.
sound like there's going to be this bullet pipe and it's going to shoot the water underneath it.
No,
And I was thinking,
it's a
what?
way, a
On
method
the
of
front
pipe
of- On
installation.
the
Oh,
front
okay, all right,
of the
yeah, sorry.
object, either it's a.
Yes, no, that's okay.
They can also
And
do a
so
directional
you know how
forward.
low, so they know where the data line is.
Right, and so they have, all those things are located when they're
Okay.
doing it, and so that's how they do it.
Sorry, Howard,
Sorry.
for my analogy.
I thought, and jacking, it sounded a little bit like fracking, like what? That's strange.
I'm familiar with
Any other questions, commissioners?
It seems pretty pro forma to me.
Thank you.
I think
Thank you,
POCD prefers its sewage underground. Anything we can do to assume that, I think we should do it.
And it uncomplicates a situation, the original plan would have had the sewage going to Avon and then coming back to Simsbury.
But this isn't the main trunk, this is those, it isn't that big line, they've got a major line running through town. That's on the Hog Meadow? The big,
There's several.
yeah, there's a
Yeah,
big
This is
trunk.
just for this development, I'll tell you.
No, I'm talking about the big, there is
Oh,
a
the data line?
major,
I don't know for sure. My understanding was there's a
There are
major thing
multiple
under Route
interceptors and
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
she was talking, are you talking the communications or sewer lines?
the AT&T, one of their major East Coast trunk lines runs right through Simsbury.
Yeah.
And,
But
but
it
they have a lot of
doesn't-
sensors. If you so
But
much as get near it, helicopters appear and,
It doesn't affect what we're doing.
well,
So the
you're pretty sure that's
proposed-
not it. Yeah. Okay.
The proposed motion is appropriate that we see here?
that was staff's recommendation.
You want to make a motion, Alan?
I would. It's pretty easy when it's written out for you. I'd like to move that we accept the sewer easements for 20 Hop Meadow Street as proposed this evening as being consistent with the goals and recommendations of the Town of Simsbury 2007 Plan of Conservation and Development.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, but I was,
Okay, moving on to item 5, General Commission Business, Plan of Conservation and Development Update, Request for Qualifications. Mr. Abbott, you want to give the summary, or would you like me to?
However you would like to proceed.
Okay, I'll do it, and then you can fill in the gaps, because I'm not quite sure what you've done since we last met. We did establish a POCD update subcommittee comprised of Alan Needham, Dave Ryan, who is the chairman of the zoning commission, and myself, along with town staff, namely Mr. Abbott and Mr. Glidden. And we met and reviewed and evaluated 3 requests for qualifications to update the POCD. And we, after looking through each of those, decided that there were 2 that had a little more merit than one of the others. And we were going to try to establish a time to have them come in and speak to the whole commission. Or was it the subcommittee?
That was what you were going to discuss this evening.
So, we have a decision to make. We'd like to bring in 2 of the respondents to speak either with the subcommittee or the whole committee, so...
Whole committee.
Well, what's the purpose of this presentation?
Vetting.
Um,
Hear what they have to say?
Ultimately, it is your plan that you have to adapt. So I think you, staff, as well as you or a subcommittee of you as a commission, need to have a comfort level with the person who's going to be charged with undertaking this task in the next 10 to 12 months on a relatively tight time frame. And whether you do it as a subcommittee or not, that's up to you as a commission. Staff will react to however way you want to do it. My recommendation, if you do it as a commission, I would prefer not to delay until mid-September and possibly have interviews. There is a fifth meeting Monday of this month. There's also a 5th Tuesday of this month. We have the possibility of having a meeting then. My recommendation, if you do it as a full commission, is you bring them in, you give them 20 minutes to half an hour for a presentation. You have 10 to 15 minutes for questions, and then you move on to the next person. After that, you develop some consensus with staff, and, you know, we'll make a recommendation on who we hire. Again, ultimately, you have to vet the process, but staff has to also work with the consultant on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully, we'll have a good conversation about who you feel is competent enough. The chairman has asked me to vet the 2 individuals that potentially would be interviewed during this process, or slight delay in having a meeting. It was clear with the panel to date, as well as staff, who the 2 are. And I think if you hired either one of the 2, you would perhaps not err.
Was there a public announcement of the position? Is that how these 2
Yeah,
people came forward?
to backpedal a little bit, back in late June, we issued a request for qualifications. That was done through the Connecticut American Association of Planning. We also did it on a couple other venues, and we did that back in June, and we received applications up until June 24th. We then reviewed those internally and made a recommendation to the chairman to work with a small group to vet the 3 down to 1 or 2. And it was whittled down to 2.
So we do have time not in our favor. So there is a little bit of urgency to have these 2 groups come in. Now, we don't have a regularly scheduled meeting in August. And we need to speak with these people before September, for sure.
So we'd have to schedule a meeting.
Either a special meeting of the full commission, or a special meeting of the subcommittee.
Bill, I'm a little torn both ways, because on one part I want to see it, but on the other side, we've put it into your hands to do this, to go through this process and to make this evaluation. I don't know how you feel as far as whether you think it's going to hamper the process that we've asked you and Alan to do. Alan, you can speak up too. Whether it's going to, you know, you've got a process that you've been going through, and we really put this in your hands. So I almost feel like, in a way, it's casting doubt on the decision that, you know, we've asked you to make.
I'm not worried about that. I don't think Bill is either.
Okay. Is it going to hamper the process as far as timing?
Here's what I'm concerned about. I think that trying to question these people in a 20 to 30 minute time frame with a large group, I think we're going to get bogged down. I think Bill and I and Jamie by profession have a leg up on this already, simply because we've already met, read through the proposals, we kind of have a leg up. Calling a meeting of the subcommittee, I don't think will be very difficult. I think we can get together pretty quickly. Calling a meeting of the larger group might be a problem. I'm more interested in the process, or concerned about the process of trying to stick to the task, get done in 20 or 30 minutes in a large group. We were very efficient in our little subcommittee. At least I thought so.
And my other concern is that if we open this up to our commission, is this then sending the message that zoning can do the same thing, right? Because aren't they?
Well, they're not part of the process. It's kind of a courtesy and just a smart move to have their chairman as part of the commission.
But no one else is going to be involved with it, just their chair.
That's
Okay. So I guess going back to my original thought, which I think you confirmed with me, Alan, is that, you know, you have some experience with these documents. You have some. You're well along through the process. For someone like myself, even though I'm intelligent and could pick it up, I think for me personally at this point, I'm going to hamper the process, and it could cause a problem if I'm sitting here with someone who's interviewing. It's not a problem for me to be there and to maybe as an observer, but I think for me to be involved in the decision-making process, at least for me, I think it would be difficult to do. just because of where you guys are in the process.
It was very helpful for us to read the documents and then discuss it amongst ourselves. And I found that very helpful. It revealed some things that individuals may not have seen, so.
Having done RFPs and RFQs, I feel uncomfortable. No, it has nothing to do with, I just feel like, as a full commission, we all should be making the decision together. And I think, yes, we are under the gun, but then we make the time to do it. Personally, I think the more that I'm not involved in these decisions and what's going forward hampers what I can do on this commission moving forward. I think this is a big decision. I think we're all gonna have to be working with people. I think it was great to do it and break it out for you guys to do it, but I personally would like to be involved. I think the board should be involved. I think this is a big decision. We're gonna spend a lot of time doing this as a commission. And so I think the commission should be here to.
Mr. Chairman, what we could potentially do is, again, we have, one of the requirements of the RFQ is to get everything digitally. So we can send that out to all the commission members. We can also work with the subcommittee of Alan and Bill to maybe vet 4 or 5 questions. So you're consistent in the questions you ask the two, in essence, respondents. And it's really a meet and greet. And even in 2 hours, you're not going to determine who's more capable or less capable. You're going to determine almost who you feel is a better fit, almost from a personality standpoint. Are you the face of the company and someone else is doing the work? Those are the type of questions you want to know. If someone gets up and does a presentation and comes across as extremely arrogant, you're the residents of the community, and if you come across as the person who did the main presentation doesn't have the appropriate demeanor, that's going to become very difficult when he's amongst your peers doing the same presentation if that individual, that firm came across that way. I'm confident that 2 people could pick that up. I'm also confident that all of you could pick that up. The only thing I would say is ultimately staff has to do a lot of groundwork and legwork with these individuals. So I'm sure we may have a healthy discussion with who you ultimately select.
I have to agree with Aaron. When we discussed having the subcommittee, it was said that we would have a chance to look at the final selections and be part of the final selection process. That was specified in there. I mean, if we go back to the minutes, I think we said that. And, I do think it's fair to require that everybody reads the 2 proposals first. The only question I'd have is, because we weren't supposed to be meeting, how hard would it be to find would it be to get a quorum for the meeting? If we declare a special meeting and we don't have a quorum, then we've defeated the whole purpose of doing it.
Yeah, August 30th, Mr. Chairman, would be the 5th Tuesday of the month. So from a scheduling standpoint, I know I don't have meetings scheduled on the 5th Tuesday of the month. First, second, third, and fourth, yes. But, we're fortunate that we have a 5th Tuesday of this month.
I know I could make it.
And the only thing it would potentially conflict with is if anybody's on vacation the week of the 28th.
School starts the next day, so.
I know I have a 9-year-old, so at some point, I'm sitting here also remiss that my wife may tell me that's his first day of school, but that'll be his first day of school, and this is a night meeting, so.
And
So I can put him on the bus.
what's significant about the 5th Tuesday?
Well, he has
Jamie?
nothing else scheduled because.
I have nothing, it could be
Well, there's no planning commission meeting.
it could be the
on
4th,
Tuesdays.
it could be the 4th Tuesday. I mean,
How about
if
the
both
3rd?
dates were available the 3rd Tuesday,
I'm not available, and I'd like to be here if possible.
um,
Like to do this as soon as we can.
Yeah, that's what, I think the 5th Tuesday is too late.
And how difficult do you think?
right now I'm available on the 16th, 23rd, or 30th.
How difficult do you think it'll be to get them to arrive on any of those dates? Are they generally available, make themselves available?
They would potentially make themselves available. we're getting, I mean, the 16th would roughly be giving them a month.
Can I really would like to be part of it, and since we weren't supposed to meet, I have planned vacation. I can do the 23rd, and I can do the 30th, but I'm not here on the 16th.
I can't do the 23rd, but.
Oh, can you do the 30th?
Well, here's kind of my hybrid thoughts on this whole situation is that ultimately we make the meeting the responsibility of Bill and Alan, and that any other commissioners and alternates are welcome to join in that process.
Is the
I don't-
30th too late?
I believe it's too late,
And why is that?
because that's more than a month from now, and we're already kind of running late in the process. Not too much, okay, but I want these guys up and running in September.
Okay.
Near the end of the process, we have to be on time.
Why don't we do a show of hands who could appear on each date? Who could
Aaron, are
attend?
you gone the whole week of the 14th?
No, I come back on that Wednesday, the 17th. I don't know when I'll be back in time. I can try to be back if it had to be. But no, I literally get back the next day. If I can't be here, I can't be here. I just really feel like it's important that the whole board be
I'm
a part
glad
of
to
the
hear that
process.
that you feel like you want to contribute.
But if it has to be the 16th, it has to be.
Wednesday, the 24th?
I think you didn't want to
Earlier.
go that late. Yeah.
I'm away the 5th through the 15th.
Okay,
Oh.
that narrows it down.
We'll do it without you.
Can we do it the 18th?
No, I can't do it like that.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
18th?
18th, I have a commitment.
I'm not, actually, that's right, I'm actually gone.
The
I fly
23rd
out
is
on
too
the
late?
18th.
I mean, I could see the 30th, but is the 23rd too late?
I mean, Mr. Chairman, one of two things, if people were available the 30th, as long as you're prepared to make a conscientious decision that evening, we can enter negotiations the next morning and turn a contract around very quickly. We can let the two people coming in for the interviews know that the commission's in essence gonna make a potential pick that evening, and then the next morning, we're making phone calls, and we want a contract almost signed by the end of the week. So be prepared to sharpen your pencil and be ready to formulate a contract. And if they know we're headed down the path of contract, most of them will start and gear up the process.
What's the possibility of doing the 23rd?
0 for me. But that's fine.
I can do it. Can you do it?
I can do it.
Mr. Rabbit?
I'm available the 23rd.
Okay, let's ink that one in.
Oh,
See.
great.
Did I hear us say we're going to come loaded with some questions prepared?
We will have recommended questions for you.
Because that's the only way we're going to get this done in one night.
So what, Mr. Chairman, if I may, Ron,
He can't be here.
I'm gonna send all the two proposals out electronically.
Yeah.
If you have questions, comments, concerns,
Definitely.
please feel free to contact either me or the
Definitely.
chair.
Yeah, if I see anything that I'm,
If you wanna meet prior, or anyone who
Yeah.
can't make it that night,
Do that.
yeah,
if you wanna meet prior, you have a question, feel free to reach out to staff or the chair.
definitely.
Jamie's on vacation, 5th to the,
When do we have the opportunity to come up with the questions?
I'll start working on them tomorrow.
Good.
I would like to have that resolved prior to my vacation.
We should defer to the town planner for many, if not all of the questions, because of his experience. There's things that we would not know to ask.
I agree.
Okay, so,
I thought you had said, though, that you felt like you were, you had done this and would be able to handle, I mean, I'm just,
what I said was that we're already into the process, and having discussed it already, we have a leg up.
okay.
But that doesn't, I would still want Jamie to come up with questions. He suggested
What I
some
mean, what
topics.
occurred
we
at the
might have to
subcommittee level is we had 5 individuals who read the plan. So at that level, there was almost clear consensus of an order of 1, 2, 3. And 1 and 2 potentially could be flipped depending on how someone viewed each of those proposals. And then it got into the discussion of who will the commission as well as staff, once you meet these individuals, feel most comfortable with, that they can actually deliver the product that they say they can in their scope, in a very timely manner, knowing some of the small nuances of Simsbury.
Jamie, would you be able to send us a Cliff Notes type of summary of the 2 candidates? Is that kosher?
Well,
You know, the RFQs,
Yeah,
They're not
proposals are-
very lengthy.
Right.
They're
No.
not very lengthy.
What they
They're
wrote,
literally 10 pages each. They're not,
they submitted.
That's not long.
I'm not asking you to read 2 novels.
That's what I do.
I've done novels.
okay, so
27 of them.
it's agreed then that we'll meet the 23rd, so.
Could our fallback be the 30th, or is that a bad date for people?
It's a bad date for a chairman.
No, I don't prefer it. I have no, I don't.
I'm just saying, if we reached out to both of those people, Bill, and they said absolutely not, neither one of us can make the,
Well,
one's in,
Then we won't have a choice, I
and one's
suppose.
gone.
No, I'm available the 30th.
Okay.
I'm with Bill, I'd like it sooner if we could.
I will reach out to both of them short, in the near term, and see if they're available. What time would you like to start that evening?
We can start earlier.
Yeah.
Can
6?
everyone start at 6?
Yeah.
I'll come right from work.
If you're a couple, we can do 6 to 7 and 7 to 8
Yeah.
for the vetting.
Who's bringing dinner?
Are we allowed to order a pizza?
Did you talk to Bill
Wait,
earlier?
is that what you said?
Only subcommittees get fed.
Pizza for you.
I'm gonna
What
bring
if we
food
all,
and give it
what
to
if we all
everybody
chip
but
in?
Bill.
What if we all just chip in and order a pizza? Are we allowed to eat in here?
Yes, we have
Looks like it,
food in this
you
room.
They've had food here.
We'll see what we can do.
No, I'm just kidding. Hey, budgets are tight, I don't wanna,
No, I'm suggesting we all.
yeah, no, I'm,
Okay, good, then that's settled. So Jim, you'll
Thank
notice
you.
that properly?
August 23rd with a fallback of the 30th.
Yeah.
Only if the 23rd does not work.
Very good. Oh,
and Jamie, did I hear you correctly that we're gonna ask the same questions of each candidate, correct? We'll keep it as uniform as possible?
As uniform as
Okay,
possible.
yeah. I mean,
It's right there.
I think
We'll
what
try-
we'll be doing is
My
listening
purpose
to
of the
the-
questions is to keep some structure
yep,
Yeah.
to that.
but I found when it's the same, then you're less apt to say,
Oh, really?
you ask different questions to different people. Do
And
you
then
know?
it's hard to compare.
And then, well, yeah, it just, to be fair.
I think our role, for the most part, will be listening to the answers of the questions provided.
Okay,
Okay. That way we'll get it done.
and Bill can ask the questions as the chair.
Sure. Very good, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Jamie, any correspondence or anything else that we need to address?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. That concludes all the action items. I would seek a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the planning meeting.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
What a surprise.
I will also send a copy of the RFQ out, so you'll have the RFQ that was sent and then how they responded to that.
I did think we would
Showing up and wanted to say something. We should.
come back early, but they were still,
There's no public comment
For what?
I don't know.
in these meetings. You don't do
I'm kind
that.
of